Every object has a history, a memory imprinted upon it. But some objects, some are not just remembered, they are inhabited. And when that object is a weapon born from a place of supposed peace, its story becomes a warning. Tonight, we delve into one of the most unsettling tales I've ever uncovered. The story of a pair of Nun Chucks, a haunted convent, and the line between curiosity and catastrophe that was crossed. This is Nun Chucks, the haunted convent story that went too far. The old convent on the edge of town had been abandoned for decades. Locals whispered about the nuns who once lived there, how they vanished one stormy night, leaving behind only silence and the faint toll of a bell that no longer hung in the tower. When a group of urban explorers decided to film a video there, they thought the name Nun Chucks would make a funny title. They planned to dress one of their friends in a nun's habit, give her a pair of nunchucks, and stage a fake haunting for their channel. It was supposed to be a joke. They arrived just after midnight. The air was thick with the smell of mildew and candle wax. Their flashlights flickered as they stepped through the rotting doors. The walls were lined with crucifixes, each one turned upside down. "Perfect," said Mark, the cameraman. "Creepy enough already." They set up their gear in the chapel. The altar was cracked and a single candle burned in the center, fresh wax dripping down its side. None of them had lit it. "Who lit that?" whispered Jenna. No one answered. They laughed it off, trying to keep the mood light. But as they began filming, the sound of footsteps echoed from the hallway. Slow, deliberate, bare feet on stone. "Probably the wind," said Mark, though his voice trembled. Then came the whisper. A woman's voice, soft and broken, chanting in Latin. The words twisted through the air like smoke. The candle flame bent toward the sound. Jenna turned her flashlight toward the doorway. A figure stood there, a nun, her habit torn and stained with something dark. Her face was hidden beneath her veil, but her hands clutched a pair of wooden nunchucks carved with crosses. "Who's there?" Mark shouted. The nun didn't answer. She stepped forward, the nunchucks swinging slowly at her side. The air grew colder. The camera began to glitch, static crawling across the screen. Then she moved. Faster than any of them could react, the nun's weapon cracked through the air, striking the wall beside Mark's head. The sound was deafening. He dropped the camera and the feed went black. Screams filled the chapel. The explorers ran, stumbling through the corridors, but every hallway led back to the same place: the altar, the candle, the nun. They tried to escape through the main doors, but the wood had fused together as if melted shut. The windows were covered in thick black tar that oozed down the glass. Their phones showed no signal, only a single word flashing across the screens: "Confess." Mark tried to break a window with a metal tripod, but the glass didn't shatter, it rippled like water. His reflection in it smiled back at him, even though he wasn't smiling. Then the reflection reached out and pulled him through. His scream echoed once, then silence. Jenna and the others ran into the dormitory, where rows of beds were still neatly made. On each pillow lay a rosary, and on each rosary, a drop of fresh blood. The air smelled of incense and decay. They heard Mark's voice calling from the hallway, begging for help. When they followed the sound, they found only his camera, still recording, pointed at the ceiling. The footage showed something impossible: Mark kneeling before the nun, whispering prayers in a language none of them knew. His eyes were rolled back and his mouth moved on its own. One by one, the group began to lose control. Their flashlights flickered and shadows moved even when they stood still. One girl, Tasha, started laughing uncontrollably, saying she could see the nuns walking through the walls. She clawed at her own eyes, screaming that they were too bright. Jenna tried to drag her away, but the nun appeared again, closer this time. The nunchucks swung once and the sound of cracking bone filled the air. Tasha fell, her laughter cut short. Jenna and the last explorer, Ryan, hid in the confessional booth. They could hear the nun's footsteps outside, slow and steady. Ryan whispered that they should confess, that maybe it would stop. He opened the small wooden window and began to speak, his voice trembling. "I'm sorry," he said. "We didn't mean to mock you." The nun's voice answered from the other side, calm and cold. "Your confession is accepted." The booth door burst open and Ryan was gone. Only his rosary remained, swinging gently from the seat. Jenna ran back to the chapel, the candle still burning. She fell to her knees, sobbing, begging for forgiveness. The nun stood over her, silent. Then she placed the nunchucks on the altar and whispered, "Faith without fear is hollow." The candle went out. When the police found the camera the next morning, it was lying in the chapel, still recording. The footage showed only the candle burning down to nothing. Then, just before the battery died, a whisper: "Confess." Weeks later, the video was uploaded to their channel automatically, scheduled before the group disappeared. It went viral overnight. Viewers claimed to hear faint chanting in the background, and some swore they saw the nuns' reflection in their screens. The convent has since been sealed off, but locals say that on stormy nights, the bell rings again. And if anyone dares to enter, they'll find a single candle burning on the altar, next to a pair of wooden nunchucks, still warm to the touch. Subscribe for more stories from the shadows and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching.